Good afternoon, guys. Tonight we're hosting the first Catch Talk. My name is Max Gross. You guys may know me as Warehouse Max. I've been in a lot of the videos, but tonight I'm super excited, humbled, and honored to announce my new position with Catch America as the CEO. 2025 was an amazing year for us. We got out there and we had a mission to not only bring amazing guides into the company, but to teach you techniques to bring out tackle that is all guide designed, to teach you guys how to catch better fish, have a better time on the water. And I think we did that, especially at the ISC Show. We've heard so many of you guys coming up to the booth, saying hi, sharing stories, and it's been amazing. This last year was great, but I'll tell you what, this next year is going to be this much better. And to start, we have our new podcast with Cal and Nate, which we're kind of starting tonight, which they're going to be bringing on a lot of guides and a lot of very important people from the community to talk about that exact same thing. So without further ado, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary with these guys, and let's get it started.
We're live, baby.
All right.
We are live. I don't.
Congratulations, Max.
Thank you guys.
It's been a pretty crazy year. We fished a lot of locations, fished with all these different guides, and we're really stoked to be here, aren't we?
We are. You know, it being our 1-year anniversary of Catch America, this is a way to really kick it off with a new podcast, being Catch Talk, and we have a very special guest. You know, all these other guides, they've kind of been part of Catch America, as you know. We've all fished different bodies of water and whatnot, and we'll touch on that here in a few. But Steve's with ProCure, and I'm just gonna jump right in, Steve. ProCure makes Catch America's sense. My scent chrome killer, I have two different types. I have an oil and I have a gel. And one of the questions, you know, that I get asked all the time, and I give, you know, my clients and everybody my own answer, but I want to hear it from you. What is the difference between the oil and the gel? Where are the biggest differences?
So if you're using real bait, you want to use oil to inject or marinate in the bait. If you're using anything artificial, whether it's a soft plastic, a spoon, spinner, anything artificial, you want the gel base. And the gel base will stay on 30 to 45 minutes, where the oil you should be re-injecting your baits about every 30 minutes.
So, it's funny you say that, because of course I don't roll bait that often. So what I've been doing is I use my chrome killer oil. I use that on my soft plastics, and it seems to hold a lot better. I use the gel on my stick baits, you know, on my Rapalas, whatever I may be running, flicker shad, and if I'm using the gel, I'll use that and I'll put it on my swivels, I'll put it on my split rings, I'll put it on my hooks. And the gel definitely seems to stick better. But I feel like my oil is a little bit stronger scent too. Do you feel like the oils have a little bit more?
It is
little
stronger.
Bit more punch, right?
It does have more punch. It just doesn't last as long.
Exactly. So you got to apply a little bit more.
But there's a trick. If you warm your soft plastics up in a microwave the morning that you're going to fish, throw them in a baggie and put a little oil in with it. When they're hot, they'll absorb the oil. They become really porous, and then they'll leach out for 2 to 3 hours with scent.
That right there is a pro tip, y'all.
Yeah.
Because I've never done it, but I'm going to.
Don't melt them though, right? So if you heat them up too long, you will the thin part of the tails. So all you want to do is get it warm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that was my number one question for you, Steve. I don't know if any of the other guys have any questions for you, but we'll dip into that. But, you know, Cal, you want to introduce everybody else we got here?
Yeah, and then I got a question for Steve. So we're joined by some very tired guides here, because we are right in the middle of the ISC show. So I'm going to start off the far end here. We have Jerry Lampkin of TNG Motorsports Guide Service. Back when I used to run the fishing for, I wrote that down like a cajillion times, so I know. He is hands down, he won't say he is, but he's the best fisherman on Folsom Lake. He is a master out there. He's absolutely awesome. This guy right here, this is Matt Heron of Matt Heron Fly Fishing, right? Matt Heron Fly Fishing. I got a bad story about this guy. Last time I fished with him, I've never done this before. I shot video of him catching a monster.
Pass on the mic.
A monster rainbow, which was, I forget how, it was big.
Yeah, it was
right?
about a 23.
Yeah,
somewhere in that
all.
range.
I lost the video. I lost it. I cannot find it anywhere, and it's just total bummer. So
it was a bummer. Yeah, it was. I
It's a
don't get to
beautiful
fish
fish.
often. Usually, if I'm home, I'm working, and I got to fish with Cal, and yeah, that was the biggest rainbow I've caught in a while. So we did get a couple of cell phone shots of it, but the video is going to turn up one of these days. We'll find it.
I'm hoping. He's one of
Yeah.
those guys, when you actually let him fish, he actually catches some big stuff. It's
Appreciate it.
amazing. So last but not least here, we have Jeff Goodwin, just a fabulous fisherman and the master at Shasta Lake, and the guy that turned me on to the Chinook diver, which is, good grief, just an amazing product.
One more
So,
thing for us to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
One more thing for us
Yeah,
to buy,
buy-
but
It
worse.
is.
Buy some of those.
That's the thing.
It's a thing, and I've spent a lot of time on it. I've spent a lot of time, pulling them out of the rocks and trying to discover, their sweet spot and all that. But yeah, you know what? Divers are amazing, for our California fisheries, and I spent the time and the energy to try to make these things, as effective as they can be, like they are in the Great Lakes regions, and it's paid off big time.
There's a tip right there, guys, and I do this too, and I lose them. If you hit the rocks with them once in a while, you'll hook more fish. It's
They're
amazing.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
and you'll catch the bottom, so it's cool.
You will. But,
Yeah.
with 2025 being behind us, and, for me personally, I feel like being on Lake Berryessa, fishing was phenomenal. It was our second year in a row, and, of having high water, having our reservoirs be full. And, now we're going into 2026, and, most of these lakes and reservoirs are, they're at least 90%, if not already spilling.
Yes.
And they're saying for the first time ever, California is officially out of a drought, or, not ever, but in 25 years, which feels like forever to me. 25 years ago, I was like, I don't know. I don't even know how old I was. I can't even do math right now. My brain hurts. Like 18 or something like that. But, it's pretty crazy. So, Jeff, you already have the mic. Let's start with you. How was your 2025, over there at Shasta, and the rivers and everything else? And also, what are you looking forward to in 2026?
Well, 2025 was a repeat of 23 and 24. We've had great water years every year for the last, now this is four years. And, so what that does is, water brings life to our fish. And it brings life to our rivers. It brings life to our reservoirs. And because of this, we've started to experience, one of the most epic kind of time frames, if you will, within, our river and lake fisheries here in Northern California. And, I really, really, really have appreciated, Mother Nature and what she has delivered to this area after such a long period of droughts and, tough fishing because of those droughts. So what we're seeing is, a resurgence of, specifically our salmon fishery here in Northern California. The Sacramento River is teeming. Okay. I'm saying teeming with Chinook salmon again. I'm experiencing some phenomenal fishing in the Redding area with regards to our wild trout fisheries and our steelhead fisheries. All the other areas within our region are doing very, very well. And because of the water that we're seeing, I expect this to continue in the future. So 2026, the milestone for us specifically is our 2026 king salmon fishery on the Sacramento River. It's not official yet, but I understand that based on the numbers of returns that we saw last year, that we're going to see a very, very robust fishery again here in 2026, resulting in the opening of that specific fishery here this season.
So I got a little insight on that, and I've heard that our numbers have been pretty dang high, way higher than anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping that they give us a fishery, bring back the Sacramento River fishery, because this year, of course, we had the feather, and we had the McCollum,
Yes.
and we had the American, but
All of which are very
we've
good.
all have been missing the Sacramento River. I mean, that's our region's kind of pride and joy, is the Chinook fishery. on the Sacramento River.
Right. You know, we live there. We live, you know, close to Coleman National Fish Hatchery. This is the only hatchery that's on the Sacramento River. And, you know, they've been, you know, bumping their numbers of production at the hatcheries. They've been finding ways to raise more fish. And, you know, this year specifically what happened was they took in over 40,000 king salmon at Coleman Hatchery.
They got to 40,000?
40,000.
Because there for a while, I know, was sitting like in the teens.
No,
So it
four.
must-
4,000 for the last 3 years prior to that is all we got at Coleman Hatchery. So very, very, very bleak kind of a situation. So last year they took in 40,000 fish and they closed the doors. Okay. So we had tons of salmon spawning in the main stem, Sacramento, tons of salmon spawning in Battle Creek, which is, you know, Coleman's, you know, tributary. And we also had Cow Creek, Little Cow Creek, Bear Creek, Anderson Creek. All those creeks, you know, in our region, which are the upper areas of, you know, the spawning, you know, habitat for these king salmon that were full of in-river salmon that were spawning. And that
all natural
extends
reproduction.
into our late fall salmon fishery. So what that's going to result in, because of, you know, our water that we've received over the last handful of months, the out-migration has been phenomenal. So our 2028 is shaping up to be probably one of the most epic years that we've seen in over 20 years.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's
I'm looking forward
something
to
to think about, something to consider, and something to celebrate because we are back as far as Northern California king salmon fisheries.
Now, Steve, I know, Steve, I know that you do a lot of river fishing, steelhead, salmon, you know, up in the northern region of California. You know what I mean? Maybe Jeff, if you'd pass that over to Steve. Steve, what are you thinking? How was your guys' fishing? You guys were always out there and recording and doing all sorts of crazy
Our
stuff.
fishing was pretty good this year, but one of the first shows I aired with Angler West 23 years ago was up on the barge hole out of Sacramento.
yeah.
It was stupid crazy.
Yes.
I'd love to see it get back to that type of stage.
I bet you those fish were in there this year.
Yeah.
They're probably stacked in there.
We steelhead fished, you know, a handful of days to kind of see what our steelhead fishery is going to look like. And honestly, we couldn't hook steelhead because the salmon bit so well that we.
That's good
we
news,
had a hard
guys.
time.
That's good news for
Even
everyone
on
that's
steelhead
watching.
hatchery, on steelhead gear, you know, beads, and it was phenomenal. I have videos out. The number of fish that we saw on our light scope technology was astronomical.
That's great.
So
That's
what's
great.
the difference between this year and the last 3 years? What did they do different to get that many fish back?
You know what? It has to do with you know, good water years.
Good water.
We had terrible drought for 3
That's
years.
what helps out all of our fisheries, right? Water.
Yeah, out migration is everything. And if we have water, enough water to push our, you know, our in-river fish and our hatchery fish downriver and out to the estuaries, out to the oceans, then we're going to have a really good chance at seeing, you know, some good returns. And this year was year one of good water years, bringing back our out migration fish. And as a result of that, we had a massive return. The ocean holds 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds right now, currently. So the next 4 years looks incredible for us in the Sacramento Valley for salmon fishing.
Great news.
And what they don't understand, though, when they open a fishery like that, what it does for the towns. I mean, people
man.
like us travel. We're staying in hotels. We're buying fuel, eating in the restaurants, and hiring guides. So it's good for everyone.
It's good for the whole fishing industry. It just creates just a high level of excitement. Let's hear from Matt. Let's talk about the Truckee region a little bit. What's going on up there? What's it look like? What's going to happen?
Yeah, great question. Like to kind of preface what these guys have been saying, the last few years with water has been amazing.
Yeah.
So for us, not so much, we're not dealing really with migratory fish, salmon and steelhead. Our fish are resident. They live in the river year round. There's some tributaries they can go up, but you know, it kind of goes along with the same theme of the state. This is the first time in 23 years that the Tahoe Truckee watershed has been at 100% snowpack or more 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
So we haven't seen this in a
that's
long time,
amazing,
which,
too.
you know, goes along with the rest of the statistics for the state. So when we had that 13 to 16 drought, we were at like 3% snowpack, and I was just like, it's never going to snow again. The river's going to dry up, and obviously we're a ways away from that, but it's great to see. the water quality. And what that basically has meant for us the last few years is the fish are always there. Sometimes there's die-off during drought years, but it's not significant. But the biggie is we've been having prolific bug hatches. All of our insects are doing really well, which that in turn not just leads to bigger, stronger fish, maybe more fish. It makes our dry fly fishing even better. And one of the things we are constantly dealing with on drought cycles is in our world what we call hoot owl closures. So when the rivers get too high, everyone's got kind of their own number. It's always been 68 degrees for a lot of people. The river closes to protect the fish, especially our wild fish on the Truckee and Little Truckee. Some recent studies, though, say that number could be as high as 72 before that mortality really starts to set in with salmonid species and trout. But my favorite part about the non-drought cycles is clients always call us. My wife deals with all the reservations. Hey, we'd love to hit that evening dry fly hatch. And even when we don't have a serious drought, almost always for the last 6, 7 years, we can't fish the evenings. You can fish until about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and then those water temps skyrocket in the late afternoon, evening, and we're really not fishing in the evenings. And the Truckee's famous for its evening hatches. Right. Well, the last few years we've been able to do that, which is really special. And
you have the water.
We have the water, and more importantly, the water temperatures. So we haven't had those hoot owl closures that we've saw for I don't know how many years in a row. Obviously 23 was massive. Last year was good. This year was pretty good. But we're really looking forward to this upcoming year. Again, to kind of piggyback what these guys are saying, it's going to be amazing. I've been going to a couple Nevada County water meetings. Our buddy in Nevada works for NDOW, and he's talking about, hey, we got a little snow in the last month, not a lot, but enough. He's like, our water conditions are going to be really good the next few years. Almost, I don't knock on wood, almost no matter what happens. So from a fly fishing standpoint, the hatches, the bugs, the dry fly fishing, everything snowballs. And 99% of our fish are wild. We don't have really, other than a private section that's stocked, we have wild fish, and, water quality and water temperature is everything for us. So,
outstanding.
Yeah.
Pass it on to Jerry. Jerry, tell us about the most frustrating big fish lake in Northern California.
What I wanted to start off before I talk about the Dead Sea was getting back to what Jeff was talking about on the Sacramento River. One of the things we found out that through the Guides Association that I've been involved with a little bit, Coleman's committed to 21 million hatchery salmon this year. Wow. So that's big news. And
as far as eggs that they're going to trying to process and get to fry, really?
Wow. Yeah. From what I've heard, it's going to be
I didn't know Coleman was even that big.
Separate releases and various different things in order to get things better, So
different stages, right?
Yeah, they're going to be releasing in different stages and that type of thing. So that should help in obviously a couple of years. But like you were saying about water quality, I spent all summer on the Klamath also. And now that the dams are gone, believe it or not, a lot of the people were really worried about the silt buildup and everything like that. And I can tell you from being there for all summer that the water is cooler and there's not a lot of grass like we used to have a lot. I mean, you couldn't drift any of the riffles without getting grass or some kind of seaweed on you, if you were trolling a Castmaster or whatever you were doing, you'd always get grass all over it. So there's promise with that too, with the Klamath. So the verdict's still out about what the returns are going to be like. But we had a couple of weeks of steelhead fishing that was epic up there because of the, just the better water quality, I think. Now, getting back to the Dead Sea, closer to home.
He's talking about Folsom.
Where a one fish limit is pretty good some days. And fortunately for now, it's starting to pick up. The last 2 weeks has been a lot better than 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
How was it last year though?
Last year was pretty good actually. We had some really good good days. The problem with Folsom is because it's such a small impoundment that drains such a huge area. If people don't realize that, I have to tell clients all the time that everything between Highway 80 and 50 drains into Folsom, and it's nowhere near the size of Oroville. So that's why you see the lake going up at 1,000 cubic feet a second, or 11,000 cubic feet a second, which it's been coming out all last week, and now it's down to 4,000 cubic feet a second. So, Folsom's, that's part of why it's so hard to fish is because it's fluctuating all the time.
Flood control lake, right?
You guys are talking about, our lake's full. Well, Folsom the other day was at 430 on Friday. I went Tuesday and it's at 426. So wait a minute. Why did it go down and not up?
Right.
So anyway, so that's part of what makes Folsom so hard to fish. But there's some things hopefully coming down in the pipeline to get a better hatchery fish and more maybe trophy style of fish.
Did I hear they're going to have a pen project out there? I heard that.
The rumor has it. Let's put it that way. And I got asked about that. And so that's going to be kind of one of my pet projects because I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a trophy trout fishery there. And
Absolutely.
So, and then another on the good side, we're starting to see, like last week, I caught a couple of kings that were only about a foot long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't plant any kings there last year.
Right.
So those are naturally spawning fish.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is Folsom's like our own little Jurassic Park. It's, they've planted triploids in the years. There's always been triploids and they weren't supposed to spawn. But Mother Nature's figured out a way.
Mother Nature always finds a way.
So
there's
there's actually fish up there spawning, which is amazing to me. And, a king in Folsom grows about a foot a year. So those fish that we caught lately are telling me that those are naturally spawning fish. So that can only be,
the amount of bait in Folsom is just epic. If we just had
usually
the bait,
it's been kind of crazy lately. It's finding bait balls lately has been difficult.
Been hard.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a fun lake.
Yeah,
it's a fun lake when
it's
you hook
close
it
to
up.
home. That's the best part.
All right, let's get back to Steve here. I got a few more ProCure questions from our viewers and from people that are on my boat.
Okay.
How long does it last?
So the oil is a 5 to 7 year shelf life.
Oh, wow.
The gel is 10 to 12 years, but your heat kills it, right? It's a real product.
What do you mean our heat?
So if it's
Down
sitting
here? It's
in the
not
side
hot.
rail of your boat at 110 degree weather, you're cooking it.
Okay.
So I recommend just put in a bait cooler, no ice packs, but store it in a cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you get home, if your boat barn's 110, it'll be mid 70s in that cooler. So if you store your oils and gels in a bait cooler, you'll get 5 to 7 years for the oil and 10 to 12 for the gels.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask Steve a question I already know the answer to, but I'll tell you guys that no fishing product that doesn't work, it doesn't stick around, it doesn't sell. Tell us about the growth of ProCure, and I think that's a testament to how effective your products are.
It's been crazy. So I've been with ProCure since 2001 and took over in 13 with the direct sales and kind of overseeing it. And we're 18 to 30% a year.
Wow.
And so we're
increase.
Yeah. But in COVID we doubled. In 2020 we virtually were 106% increase. We had to get a new building. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
And we've stayed at that pace. So we doubled. And in 22, we're still just building off of that. So we never dropped. But we found a way to supply the public. We worked longer hours. We had to, unfortunately, go to China for our containers because our U.S. guys wouldn't supply us.
All right.
But we bought every 2-ounce bottle on eBay, Craigslist, wherever. They're blue, green, yellow, but we fill them. But now I think directly we sell 48 countries.
Wow.
And some of those sell to multiple other countries. So, and we've never advertised for it. So it's just the satellite TV, I think, but all I know is COVID was very good to us.
What's your number one most popular product? I'm just curious.
Well, my favorite is Anna's Bloody Tuna.
Okay.
Whether I'm trout, kokanee, steelhead, salmon, or sturgeon, that's what I use starting out. So we got 6 rods in the boat. That's what I'm using. But since we sell it all over the U.S., I would say garlic is like at our number 3, but shrimp is our number 1 selling SKU out of our plant.
Interesting.
There's a reason why I asked to have garlic and shrimp and anise in my chrome killer. There's a reason why. That's it. Flat out works.
Yeah.
This stuff does. I took a long time trying to figure out what we wanted to have put in it, and ProCure did a killer job of making most of our sense. You know what I mean? They've done a great job for us here at Catch America, and and the stuff flat out works. ProCure makes great product. There's no doubt about it.
It's not synthetic, and I'm not knocking the other guys. We're 100% real. So like some guys will ask for crawfish oil. Well, there's no oil in crawfish. You know, it's meat, shell, and water.
Yeah, so, you just
So we
gotta
can't
start
do a
getting-
crawfish oil. I can't do a threadfin shad oil because there is no oil in threadfin shad. So some things we just can't do. And we're not going to make it up. We're not going to use canola oil. We're not using whatever. We're using herring oil, anchovy oil, you know, if we're diluting other baits. But it's 100% real. Then on top of that, we're adding UV and then a bite stimulant. So everything we do has a bite stimulant. And that's what the fish farms pump in the water to trigger the fish to feed so they grow quicker. So in 2011, Phil and I went into a fish farm in Canada and they sold us their recipe. So we've been doing that since 2011.
This is just a question everybody's got on their mind that's been fishing for a while. We've grown up fishing outside the Golden Gate. We'd take those anchovies and spray them with the old school WD-40. Does it work? It
Not
sure seemed
anymore.
like it worked.
Well, it
Not
did
anymore.
then.
Not anymore.
Right, it used to
Not
be
the
made-
same anymore.
So it was made with
Now
shark
it's
and
non-toxic
cod
and-
liver oil.
Oh, okay.
And so since the price of cod liver oil went through the roof, they reformulated it about 13 years ago. So it's a heavy-duty petroleum product, and it's actually illegal to use it in Oregon and Washington other than to clean your lures.
Probably
But it's
illegal here,
illegal.
too.
Well, probably, yeah, California's got the most rules
No,
of all.
you know
so
it's
probably.
illegal here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been illegal here.
But on some days when fish are biting, you can catch them with your shoelace. And that's where scent really makes a difference. On a tough day where you're struggling or they're finicky, or it allows them to hang on a little bit longer. But no, it's been fun working with you guys because we've done a bunch of custom blends and some we can't do because some baits just don't play well together.
Yeah.
And then when I have to tell Abdul no, he kind of gets cranky. But some things just
Not
won't.
Abdul.
Some things just don't work well. But we do our best, right? We have pride in what we do, and if we're not satisfied with it, you know, we won't sell.
Well, you've made us some killer scents that are definitely putting way more fish over the rail. Personally, for me, for sure. You know, I'm sure that the rest of these guys will attest to that as well. And you know, a lot of the people watching, they love the products. You know, not only do they buy Catch America, but I'm sure they buy ProCure as well. And you know, we appreciate the job that you guys do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, this is
Glad to work with you guys.
Hey.
It's been fun. It's been a fun ride.
Pretty good friends with your partner, Phil. And he told me something years ago. I've always remembered. He said 15% of the time, you can't catch them. 15% of the time, you can't not catch them. But it's that 70% of the time in the middle when they're willing to bite, but it's not wide open when scents really, really tip things in your favor. I think it's true.
And that is true. I mean, some days it's fast and furious, and I myself would not use scent or as much. But those days seem fewer and fewer, right? So you really have to work for them. I mean, especially when there's fish out there, but they're just not biting. Yeah, with all the technology we have, we know there's fish there. You're seeing them, and it just upsets you when you can't get them to bite. So that's when you start pulling out all the tricks, and that's when it's fun. When
We're
you find
fishing
the right
muddy
one.
cold water right now. Believe
Yeah.
me, we're putting it everywhere.
So if we've got 6 rods out in the boat, everybody starts out with a different scent. And I don't get excited on the first fish, but after you've caught 2, I switch everybody to that scent, and that's when you put on a clinic,
that's what
Yeah.
you
and it
do.
works.
That's what
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. One doesn't mean anything.
No.
But two does.
We're on, but
I
some
think we
days they
probably all
just
agree.
they don't bite, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a miracle. It's not magic. It doesn't make them jump in the boat, but it does turn a slow bite into a much better day.
Those are fun days when you're a guide, when
Yeah.
you're not biting. It's just great.
I couldn't do it.
Oh my
right?
God.
Be part-time psychiatrist, comedian.
Oh, we
Yeah.
all need psychiatrists sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go home scratching our head. Yeah. But I can tell you, you know, probably all of us, as you heard from us, we're all looking forward to this season, to this year, whether it's for trout, kokanee, king salmon, striper, fish up, you know, in the northern Sierras, you know, Jerry out there on the Dead Sea, the Klamath, whatever it may be. I think it's going to be a fantastic season for all of us, which is great news, guys. I mean, for anyone that's watching, you're probably an angler. If you're not, you should be, and you should be booking a trip with one of us. You should be buying some scent. You should be doing it all. But, you know, on behalf of Catch America, thank you guys for coming and being part of our first Catch Talk. You know, our live here. I don't know how many times we're going to do live. I don't know. We have no idea. No, this was kind of just thrown upon us last week. So, you know, I enjoyed it. We appreciate you guys coming.
Let's
hopefully we all have a great 2026.
We know where to find you. You're at ProCure.com. You can get to our custom products on CatchAmerica.com. I'll say, going with a guide, you're going to catch some fish. That's great. Good times.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn how to fish if you go with any one of these guys. If you ask questions, they're going to answer them. These guys will tell you what to do. So tell us how to get a hold of everybody. Let's start off here. Jeff's closest to the microphone and go on down the line.
Yeah, you know what? You can reach us at jeffgoodwinfishing.com or visit our social media platforms at Jeff Goodwin Guide Services, Instagram and Facebook.
You're going to be after those stripers soon, right?
Stripers in April.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
we're still whacking and stacking on the river rainbows, and we have our spring trophy brown trout season coming up mid-February all the way
There's
through
something to
March.
look forward to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, so one last time, Matt Herron with Matt Herron Fly Fishing. We're up in Truckee. My wife and I are super fortunate to have a fly fishing school, an outfitter up there. So we got a great team of guides and instructors. And yeah, fishing right now, winter fishing's been amazing. We got that big push of water a few weeks ago, right before Christmas, a bunch of snow on top of that. The water's up and has a little color to it, which we love instead of low and gin clear. So we're looking forward to the great rest of the winter. And then again, our big fish, our big brown season's right around the corner too. As soon as spring hits and we get some runoff and off color water, we're going to run into some of those big Truckee browns you hear about. So we're looking forward to it. And on top of that, all the normal social media channels at Matt Herron Fly Fishing.
We have a lot of gear guys that are maybe reluctant to go fly fishing. Go fishing with this guy. He will not shame you. He will set you up for
what
success.
You guys did when you went on your trip, I'm going.
Golly.
I'm not big into fly fishing, but I like catching fish.
I got a
anyway.
two-hander. I got to have you teach me how to learn.
Let's do that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I'm Jerry Lampkin, TNG Motorsports Guide Service, and you can get a hold of me at tngguideservice.com and on Facebook and all the other, like you said, all the other social media sites, and that's about it. I'll be fishing steelhead all next week, and maybe out on the Dead Sea again in between. So
And you give lessons out there on Folsom, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
We're
yeah.
happy to take you out there and show you everything we know. Right now, just drag a night crawler. That's all you need to do. That's
There you go.
doing it right now.
That's
So
always money.
anyway, so.
Well, thanks a ton, guys. Thanks for coming. I know you're all tired. I know we're at the show, and
I know I am.
I'm gonna go wash my hands because I don't like germs. But but
The show wasn't the best place for Cal, y'all. He had to say it.
have to. Anyway,
So one thing about hiring a guide, I highly recommend it. I mean, we film every year up at Winter Harbor, and it's just stupid fishing. But guys will drive their boats, drag them all the way up there, and they won't hire the guide. And they'll call me frustrated, say, well, everybody was catching fish but me. I mean, just because you're there and there's a bunch of fish, you really, every river, creek, and stream fishes differently. So do yourself a favor, hire a guide at least for the day. Let them know you have your own boat and you're going to hang out there for a day or two. But I tell you what, you're really missing it if you don't spend the money, hire the guide. You'll thank yourself for it in the end.
I appreciate that, Steve.
it gives you confidence. I remember being with Jeff. He found the browns on a point. I said, "What are you going to do now?" He said, "I'm going to troll at them till they bite."
That's right.
Pretty simple, but you know.
But it's things that the average angler that doesn't get out on the water, every day like we are, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I do the same when I go up to Idaho.
learn a lot.
I hire a guide.
Yeah.
Right? And I let them know we're going to whore this
Some
river out for
local
like 3
guy,
days.
yeah.
But tomorrow we're fishing with you. Show us the tricks. And then
we'll
it
try
pays
and
off.
repeat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys hire guys when they go out.
Yeah, I hire guides.
Yes.
Why do I want to go out and try and figure something out? Let me have you for $250, $300. Let's go.
That's right.
You know
Hire
what
the
I mean?
guide,
Show me what's up.
learn
Yeah.
the river, and then or the lake, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Hire the guide.
Right on.
Right on.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. First
Good
Catch
night.
Talk Live.
We'll be back next month.